definitely wanted this episode to come out at the beginning of January because at the beginning of every year, people are setting goals, doing New Year's resolutions, creating vision board, and the newest trend that people are bringing to light is manifesting your life, manifesting the life of your dreams. And I think that for somebody who is struggling with a mental health illness, it can really be hard to manifest a life because usually all you're thinking about is your mental health and how that's going to come into play to ruin those goals or to ruin those dreams. And I think a lot of the times trying to envision your life any different than it is now is kind of hard. Trying to say, what is it going to be like tomorrow? What's it going to be like a week from now? What's it going to be a month from now? And then trying to imagine what my life is going to be a year from now, that's insane because a lot can happen in a year and you can have a really good mental health year. You could have a really rough mental health year. You don't know where you're going to be a year from now. So for manifesting, it can be really hard to even just think of trying to manifest your life. But today we're going to talk about how you can manifest your life of your dreams around your mental health. And you might be thinking to yourself, if you've never heard of manifesting, manifesting is the act of bringing a tangible desire or goal into reality. Often by putting intentional energy into bringing those goals to life, with enough practice, people believe they can manifest anything. So they can manifest more money, they can manifest the dream job, the dream guy, the dream house. And a lot of people feel like manifestation is just putting out in the universe and the universe is going to bring good stuff back to you. But I don't think you realize that the people who are manifesting things, yes, they're putting out in the universe, but they're also working on, whatever they want and putting things into place to get there. So today we are going to walk through the steps to take to manifest a life of your dreams around your mental health because it is possible. So first, you're going to identify that big goal that you have on your heart that you want to do. So for an example today, I'm going to say podcasting. So you're going to put that at the top of your paper. And then the second thing you're going to do is list the steps you're going to take to get to that ultimate goal. So you're going to say podcasting is my ultimate goal. So what's the steps to get there? I have to create a title, I have to create a description, I have to create, topics for episodes. And then maybe you want to throw later on, or your goal is to do interviews, you're going to put that on your list. And then the third thing you're going to do is to break those steps into smaller steps, okay? Step number 1 was creating a title. Okay, how am I going to do that? The next step is sitting down and brainstorming what titles that I like or what titles I can come up with. Number 2, description. Okay, what do I need to write to say this is what my podcast is about? So when people, click on it, they know exactly what they're getting. Number 3 is topics for episodes. What are things that I want to talk about? Jot down ideas that you would want to talk about for your episodes. And maybe even going a step further with, these things, you could say, what is my recording schedule going to be like? What is my editing schedule going to be like? When am I going to post these? Maybe you even say, what platform am I posting these on? And those are a good thing to list as well. And then maybe if you're doing interviews, you can say, okay, who am I going to interview? How am I going to reach out to them to ask them? If they agree, then when am I going to schedule a time to interview them? Then when am I going to edit it? When am I going to schedule it? And, going forward with that. And something too is the last thing you're going to do after you've done all this is you're going to put your mental health into play. You're going to ask yourself, how will my mental health be during this process? Because your big thing with creating the life of your dreams is creating it around your mental health. How's your mental health going to come into play? What are you going to do on the really rough days when your mental health is at the worst? Create a life around your mental health. Create the goals and create the dream around your mental health. Put that into your factor. And don't make the goal too big because you want to make it realistic to you and make it so it's easy to complete. because if you make it too big, you're setting yourself up for failure before you even start. That's most of the time why people who set New Year's resolutions or set intentions or, set these goals for themselves don't ever achieve them, because they're setting them so big, or they're giving themselves an unrealistic timeline, that by the time they hit that timeline, if they're not where they think they need to be, then they feel like they failed, and then they give up and they never go back to it. So when you're doing this list for yourself, you're going to keep breaking down the steps into smaller steps, and then that's where you're going to start, because the smaller steps will take you to the next set of steps, that takes you to the next set of steps, that takes you to the ultimate goal. So always start small and then move forward. And I think that sometimes the thing that is holding us back without us realizing it is our own mental health illness, because your mental health illness is always going to be a part of your life. So instead of it getting in the way of that, thing you want to do, make it a part of it. Use it as a stepping stone to learn how to move forward in that journey, and make it a part of that journey. Make it a part of that goal, and make it a part of that dream, because you need to learn that if you have a certain day or a certain time you want to do something and you're just not feeling good, or you're not in the right mood, then you need to learn how to shift things, okay? If I can't do it this day, then this other day is open, that's when I'm going to do it. And, if you're having a really bad mental health day, take a step back, take care of yourself, and then come back when you're ready. This journey is yours. These goals are yours. So make the steps realistic and make them, achievable, so then you are encouraged to keep going. Again, if you make them too big, you're going to get discouraged, and you're going to take that goal and you're just going to shove it to the side. Start where you're at today. That's why I said, even though we're at the end of February, start at the beginning of March, because this is your day one. This is the time to set the daily goals, to set yourself up for success. And I think something else I encourage you not to do is to compare yourself to other people. So if you're trying to start a podcast, you're trying to write a book, you're trying to start a YouTube channel, whatever you're trying to do, if you're going to follow people who have already done that, or are in like a further place in that journey, don't compare your day one to their like day 100. Instead of comparing yourself to them, try to, have them be more of like an inspiration for you, to kind of show you that they've paved the way for you to be able to do what they're doing. And I think for a lot of people, when they decide to do something, they're like, well, there's so many people that are already doing it. No one's ever going to listen to my stuff, or no one's ever going to read my books, or no one's going to ever watch my videos, because there's so many other people doing it. And that's not true. Like, of course there's all these people doing it, but how you're going to do it is different. So take what all these people are doing, make them maybe a part of your practice, but also make them be a part of your stepping stones to realize, like, look what they've done. This is my inspiration and my motivation that I can do it, and that'll help, like, keep you hopeful to, living out that dream or living out that goal. And, you're going to have bad days. Nobody is perfect. No one has this perfect life that every day goes just the way they want it to go. And at times you may feel like things are going slow, and that may make you feel like you're failing, but you're not. You're doing it your way. You're taking your time doing it, and you're starting where you're at. And the more you learn how to do it, the further you can go, and the more you'll be able to get closer to that goal or dream. And I do want to talk about some of the problems with manifesting, because there are problems with manifesting, just like with setting goals or setting New Year's resolutions, is that if you manifest something for your life and it's not going the way that you thought it would go, or you feel like it's not coming true, it can leave you feeling, ashamed and guilty for not achieving your dream. But I encourage you to be easy with yourself and take it one day at a time. Nobody is going to, dream or manifest this life and tomorrow they're going to wake up with it. And I think that sometimes too, it can be a little like mixed direct messaging. When you have like people who, create TikToks and then they blow up and you're like, why can't that happen to me? Well, that's just not realistic. It doesn't happen for everybody like that overnight. For some people, they're just lucky. But for a lot of people, it's working at it, every single day, week by week, month by month, year by year, to really reach that goal and that dream they have in their heart. And they're continuously working at it, for however long they need to work at it. That's something else that I think that would work for you, is don't set an end date to when the thing needs to be done, because I think that's another thing that deters us. If we set like a certain date to this has to be done by this time, if we get to that day and that time and it's not done, then we feel like we failed ourselves because we didn't get what we wanted to get done. So kind of have it more be like a running journey instead of like a set day that this needs to be done, like this has to be done by the end of this year. More like just have it just like no time, no day timelines. Give yourself as much time and as many years as you need, because again, if you set that day and you haven't completed it, it's going to deter you from continuously working on that dream or that goal that you have on your heart. And trust me, envisioning the future can be hard. This is hard for people who aren't struggling with mental health illnesses. Like, it's hard to envision your life any different than it is right now, but you just need to start slow, and you need to just give yourself grace on those really hard days. Deciding to kind of set a schedule for yourself. Say, I'm going to work for this amount of hours every day, or I'm going to work on these certain days during the week, or a few times a month. You get to decide. Your schedule is up to you. You decide the goal, you decide the dream, you decide when you're going to work on them, and you decide what the outcome is going to be. Like, everything is up to you. So I think that, it's easy to get in your own head sometimes, but I think it's easier when you start slow and then you just kind of start building yourself up over time. Again, when you have those really bad mental health days, take a step back, take care of your mental health, and then come back to that goal. That's what I did with this podcast. I burnt myself out with trying to record and trying to schedule and trying to be perfect. And I took a 6 months leave, really dug into my mental health, really connected with myself, and now I'm back at it. And at any time during this journey, if you need to do that, do it. Your mental health is the highest priority. It's the number one thing on your list before this ultimate goal and this ultimate dream. Take care of yourself and then come back. And if right now, let's say you're not in the right place with your mental health, then I would encourage you to take care of your mental health first. And then once you're in a good place, then that allows you to take that step into that ultimate goal or that dream that you have for your heart. Just don't overpush yourself. Some goals and some dreams are going to take way longer than you expected, and that's okay. Allow yourself to move at your own pace and continue doing that for the next amount of days, next amount of weeks, the next amount of years, whatever amount of time you need. Just move slowly at your own pace and achieve that goal and that dream on your own time. Because when you think about it, your mental health illness is always going to be a part of your life. It's always going to be a part of your day-to-day, week by week, month by month, year by year life. Like, you can't change that. So make it a part of your plan. Make your mental health work for you. Recognize when feelings come up and learn how to move forward from them. So, if you're recording something and you're getting really frustrated, then don't record that day. Or if, you're trying to work on it and it's just not working, then walk away and come back when you're ready. It's not a thing that has to be done right then and there. It's something that you can decide to do whenever you want to do it. And I just don't want you to be upset with yourself or get so upset with yourself that you kind of just throw that goal or dream behind you and you never look back at it, because I just don't want you to get to like the end of your life and then regret the fact that you never went for it because you let, your mental health illness hold you back. And like I said, a lot of times I think we don't think that it is, but we feel like that's almost like a good, thing to back up on and say, well, I couldn't do that because of my mental health illness. And, it's easy to blame that and to be the reason why you can't reach those goals and dreams. But I think that if you do these steps and really kind of start slowly, like anything in life is possible, and you can definitely go for that goal and dream you have on your heart, even with your mental health illness. So let's recap before I leave you. You're going to start with that ultimate goal. You're going to make the list of steps you're going to take to get there. Then you're going to break those steps down. And like I said, you can even break those steps down. And then you're going to throw your mental health in there and say, how am I going to make this work around my mental health? How am I going to work on those days when my mental health is really bad? And that's, taking a step back, focusing on yourself, and then coming back. Like I said, creating a schedule for yourself. Let's go back to podcasting. When am I going to record? What days am I going to edit? When am I going to have them out? Make it easy on yourself, because I think once we make the steps and we make them easy enough to achieve, then nothing is really holding us back. And again, don't make your mental health the excuse of why you really can't go for that, because I think that for a lot of us, again, that's an easy out, and that's the easiest way to say I can't do it. But you can't always let that hold you back. Life is a beautiful thing, and you can make anything happen. So, manifesting the life of your dreams around your mental health is going to be the best thing for you, because once you make your mental health a priority, those goals and dreams will just start to happen, and you will be able to, live a life you absolutely love. And one day you'll look back and say, oh my gosh, I can't believe I was able to, complete that goal and that dream I had in my heart. And I just feel, so proud of myself for how far I've come. So before I lead you today, I want you to try this. I want you to make a list of goals you can realistically achieve by next week. Then jot down the small steps you can take to get them done, even if it's just one goal. So you have the ultimate goal, you've made the steps to get there, and then you made, smaller steps. I want you to take one of those smaller steps and say, this is what I'm going to work on this next week. And then once you're able to check that off, then the next week you can go to the next goal. Even if maybe your week was busy or you had a really rough week with your mental health, don't get upset with yourself because you didn't achieve that goal. Just move that goal to the next week. And if it doesn't work the next week after that, keep moving it until you can, work on that goal. Like I said, work at your own pace. This is your schedule. Whatever works for you works for you. It's your dream, it's your goal. Whatever's going to work for you, take it at your own pace. So, complete that goal and then go to the next goal. And then if you are able to have more time, or you're in a better place to set more goals, like 2 or 3 goals that week, then do that and then check them off. But if you don't complete them, just move them forward and complete it the next week. It's not a big deal that you didn't get it done. Like, you still have time to get it done. And that's what I think of, like, this episode's coming out at the end of February, okay? We still have 10 months of the year to get things done. And if, January and February weren't the best months for you, maybe March is the month for you to step in to that dream or that goal that you have in your heart you want to do. Like, it doesn't have to start at the beginning of the year. It can start at any point of the year, any day, any week, any month. Whenever you feel comfortable starting, and like I said, if your focus was, focusing on your mental health at the beginning of the year, and now you're at the end of February and you're in a better place than you were, at the beginning of the year, then now is your time to step up and say, okay, now that I'm in a good place, now I can focus on that goal and that dream that I had on my heart. And just remember that it's okay if 2023 wasn't your year, because sometimes we have really bad years. And I think, every new year, even if I had a really rough year last year, I kind of say to myself, like, this is a new year to have a clean slate and, start over again and be in a different place than I was last year. I'm leaving last year behind me. I'm not looking back. I am beginning anew. And, you know, if whatever dream or goal I had in my heart didn't happen last year, guess what? This is a whole new year to make it happen. And I'm going to make that list of steps that are realistic for me and for my mental health and how I need to work on it. And I'm going to create that schedule. And if my schedule doesn't go perfectly, that's perfectly fine. I'm not gonna, be upset with myself. I'm just gonna work on it at my own pace and figure it out and see where the future goes. And that's the best you can do for you, and that's the best you can do for your mental health. So I really hope that this episode inspires you to, manifest the life of your dreams, but, also realize that you can do it with a mental health illness. And you can definitely focus on your mental health illness while focusing on that dream you have on your heart. And they can work, side by side with each other. And it can be beautiful because life is a beautiful thing and anything is possible. And just because you have a mental health illness, that is not a reason not to go for that, ultimate goal or that ultimate dream you have on your heart. So thanks for chatting with me today, and I will talk to you guys again real soon.